Hello coaches, this is the introductory video for our back handspring levels, but also I wanted to give some history of where this came from. This is not so much something I invented. This is something that actually had a life of its own and taught me about a back handspring. Because where I started with this was I loved jumping bridges. Jumping bridge, man, I like that. But it puts a lot of pressure on your wrist, you know, and you can't do a lot of them without wearing your wrist out and hurting them. And I also loved back limbers, where you're standing up doing a back bend to a bridge and jumping. You know, a lot of gyms will use those to help train for back handspring because it's working those muscles. But I didn't like that it was such a flexibility skill that young girls are good at it, but you know, some of your older teenagers learning to tumble, they're too stiff for that. And there are some girls that have very stiff shoulders. They couldn't do that. And there's guys, oh my gosh, you know, got stiff backs. But I love the idea of being able to work a back bend and do a jumping bridge. And that's why I wonder if you can do a back bend from a squat. Because if we're in a squat doing a back bend, we could add the jumping bridge. I'm going to experiment with that. And so I went to my developmental team because everything about that seemed wrong. I mean, it was kind of a good idea. So I figured if I went with my developmental team and messed them up a lot, I could fix them. You know, I had time to fix them. But what happens, I squatted them down, we do a slow back bend, and when they do the jump, all of a sudden they're doing perfect back handsprings. And I'm like freaking out, like, what the heck is going on? Everything about this is wrong. Why is this making them do perfect back handsprings? And basically, long story short, as I investigated this and worked with it more, what it's doing is it's putting you in the sweet spot. Beginners jump too soon. If your hands are way up here when you jump, the reach goes, it doesn't work. It just, no. So the sweet spot on your back handspring is sit, but don't jump yet. So you got to get the reach all the way around. And when the hands are ready to come under, that's when you want to jump. So that way the hands are coming under and the power's going this way with the reach and the jump's going that way. Woo! Yes, that's the sweet spot. That's the one action that really makes a back handspring work. Because when you're reaching under and jumping over, now it's lifting it up. Now it's flipping it over. Now it's giving it rotation. Now your hands are going here and you can push back and you can lift those arms up for you sit. So what's happening with the squat back bend is actually showing the kids exactly where the sweet spot is and not letting them jump too soon. But there's more, because as this developed, I thought, well, this is a flexibility way of teaching. It'll never work with high school girl beginners that are real stiff. And not very long after I started that with developmental team, all of a sudden I looked up one day, the tumble coach was using it in the tumble class with the teenagers. And I was like, oh no. But then I watched and I went, hey, that's working. Oh, great. I would have never thought of that. So truthfully, if this thing, like I said, this thing taught me a lot. I would have never used it with the tumble guy. I would have thought it was too much of a flexibility way of doing it, but it works great for them. So as long as you can kind of bend and get in that position when you're down low, you can go slow. You can add the jump and then it gets them on the ground. So those that aren't flexible enough to bend that much, they can actually get to where they're just as far as they can bend. And as soon as they jump, it just makes it easier to get the hands on the ground. So it actually works great for them. And so then I thought, well, it works for them, but it'll never work for guys. Oh my goodness, it works even better for guys. It's the craziest thing. A flexibility approach, work with somebody that's not even flexible. You do have to get them up on a higher mat like a resi pit, a really tall guy that's stiff, and so they can bridge up and do the bridge and jump. But see, they're strong. They can jump. They can hold themselves up, use their caveman strength. And then got to get them to do their back bend. Now, they're not going to be able to bend all the way to a bridge because they're not flexible enough. So we need to get a soft mat. We need to get their arms straight. We need to get the arms behind their head. And we need to see how much they can bend before they fall on their back. So once they do that, though, you can squat them all the way down, get them into that bend, get them to where they're starting to fall. And they've got a strong enough jump that it can lift them up. And as long as they can get their hands on the ground. So it's a fantastic way to teach guys that are very stiff how to do back handsprings. So, but there's even more, because I started thinking, well, kids that have back handsprings, they're not going to want to, squat down and do the jumping bridge. And I don't even know if it's going to fix. It does a great job of fixing back handsprings. So now first I'm looking for problems in timing, like they're jumping too soon, they're flying too high, When legs are bending, you don't tell them to straighten their legs, because what's happening is they're not reaching enough. They're not getting their bridge up enough and not getting enough rotation to be able to keep the legs straight. They're jumping too soon. They're not rotating enough. And that's why they feel like they have to tuck their legs. So these are things that, or if they're throwing their head instead of their arms. So these are things I'm looking for. I can use the bridges and the back bends, but what I can do is squat them down and get them to get to the sweet spot. Now, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, I do my back handsprings from a stand. And usually all I say is, well, yeah, I know. All we're doing is squatting down so we can go slow. That way we can fix, make sure you're reaching, make sure your arms are straight, make sure you're getting your hands on the ground and you're jumping at the right time. So we're just going to squat down so we can go slow and fix things. And a lot of times just one logical thought like that, usually they don't have a comeback. And so I've been able to take kids who are used to doing back handsprings, even round up back handsprings too high, and they're tucking their legs. I'll come over here, squat them down, get them to reach all the way around before they jump, get them used to reaching a whole lot more before they jump. It has become a fantastic tool for fixing back handsprings. Because again, it gets whatever problems they're doing, if they're throwing their head, if they're reaching back too much, if they're not reaching over, whatever they're doing, this gets them into the sweet spot and gets them to fix it. And once they feel that sweet spot of sit, reach all the way around, and then jump when your hands are coming under, oh my God, it's an awesome tool for fixing back handsprings. Now also, the other thing about this is how it saves your shoulders and your back. Most gyms have to use young tumble coaches that are over there holding kids up in the air and putting them on their hands and having to do huge spots. And they got big girls jumping up, holding them in there, putting them on their hands. With this exercise, with this way of approaching it, we really have the students carrying at least 90% of their weight at all times. And so this makes something that younger coaches, girls, could come in and actually help with the tumble classes. Yes, they could work the back bends and the jumping bridges and the handstand rounds down and snap down stations. But especially with the younger girls, they could come over and squat down and help them do a back bend to a bridge. And add a little bit of a jump to it, or a back bend to a bridge up. And if the girls are collapsing or throwing their head back, they can, kind of hold them up and let them collapse if they're not even catching themselves at all by doing what I call the dump truck. You get them, they're going on their head, you just go like this and it dumps them over. And so this becomes something where you have more coaches that you can put in the tumble class. You don't have to do just the young big guys. And also, it's not going to tear up your coaches' shoulders and backs. How many young tumble coaches that I've heard of that by doing this 8 or 9 or 10 years, their shoulders and back are torn up? Okay, well, I'm an example of I've been spotting back handsprings for over 40 years, and my shoulders and back are fine. It's because I'm not straining them and getting in weird positions. I'm letting the kids hold themselves up and getting them to work. That way it works their muscles, gets them stronger. It actually gets them in better positions to do the back handspring. If you're picking someone up and carrying them and putting them on their hands, that's not teaching them how to do a back handspring. That's just tearing your body up. And so there's no need to do that. So you can probably see why I'm so excited about this, that it is such an awesome way to teach back handsprings that saves the coaches, that the kids can learn them faster. It keeps the kids out of positions where they can jam their wrists, strain muscles, and get themselves in positions they don't want to be in. And it is something that no one actually invented. It was something that, as I just kept an open mind and asked questions about it, taught me. I was like, oh, this never worked for, girls with tight shoulders and teenage girls that are stiff. It works great for them. Oh my gosh, this will never work for guys. It works even better for them. Oh, this will probably never help someone fix their back handspring. Oh yeah, it works fantastic. It actually makes the fixes happen instantly. Because you squat down low and do a back bend jumper bridge, if you do it at the wrong time, it won't flip over. You have to dump truck them all the time. So I am so excited for, if you have this opportunity to see this and be able to use this and put it in your program. It is a fantastic way to teach back handspring, and it's something that's going to take your tumbling program to a completely different level. So let's get out there and get this going, get these skills going. Let's get the download in the brain for the tumble rules, Get those kids in the right place where they're using their body correctly as they learn tumbling. And let's get out there and get it done. Get these tumble skills taught safely, and so these kids can carry on and get to the highest level they possibly can. All right, we'll see y'all on the next video.